Welcome to the Real Joe Show. Super excited about this episode. We have Chuck Belden from Relevate Real Estate on with us here in Raleigh, and you're going to be blown away when you hear his story. So stay tuned, and you stay tuned. Just watch this. All right, Chuck.
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
And I've been wanting to have you on for a while now. I'm so happy you finally took the time to come on.
My pleasure.
We have our new studio here too, which helps it all.
Well, yeah, this is the only reson why I'm here is because of the fancy studio.
There you go. Yeah, but before it was in the back of my pickup truck. It's awful. So this is great.
Not weird at all.
No. The windowless van, that's all gone.
Yeah.
So I want to tell the story, Chuck. You've been in this business for how long?
I got my license in 2008.
2008. And what has been your trajectory with agent right away? Tell me a story.
Yeah. Started off as a general brokerage agent in 2008 and then built a small team. Ended up taking that team and starting my own firm.
Okay.
Did that for a couple of years and burned myself out. Was miserable. Didn't know what I was doing. Closed the firm. Left real estate altogether for about 5 years and thought I was done. And then in 2018, I came back full time.
Wow.
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah. That you just unlocked a lot I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Owning your own business, everyone thinks it's the way to go because then you're your own boss and you can make your own rules. Reality behind that
was not that. I was spending so much time doing the managerial type things, and I was doing a whole lot less client interaction, a whole lot less sales. And those were the things that I like to do.
Right.
And, I was looking to create something unique and special. And I was burning myself out. Yeah. And I thought I was miserable and I thought I hated real estate, but I just didn't like the way I was doing it.
Right. It's difficult. And I think a lot of people run into that when they're trying to build a team with the structures that are out there, most prevalent that are out there. You end up doing, you might not be under your own company, but you're still running the team, managing all that. You still have all those stresses and it has to pull you. If you're going to be able to manage it, you're going to have to be pulled away from transactions.
Yeah, there were so many things in it that in my mind, when I was starting it off, made sense. And then as soon as I got into it, it was too soon, or I wasn't the right person, or it was the right place. I don't know what it all was, but I enjoyed more time with clients and less time doing that. And I just wasn't doing it. I had it backwards.
Yeah. So, you left the business and you came back as?
I came back as a coach and as an office manager.
Okay.
Well, first, let me back up for a second. First, I came back into new home sales for a year. I'd always been interested in new homes. I wanted to learn that side of the business so I could serve future clients better. I like pretty things. I like nice houses. And so I went to work for a local custom builder for a year, learned the ins and outs of that. Fantastic. And then I left that and went into agent training and coaching and development. I thought that maybe that's where I belong since I was trying to do that before. But the more time I did that, the more I missed general brokerage and selling.
Yeah. There's something about it, right?
Yeah, there was.
So now when did you become just an agent? Just start doing.
I became a full-time general brokerage sales agent in March of 2020.
March of 2020. Okay, cool. So this is why I've been wanting to talk to you. This is the meat of.
I tend to start at interesting times. 2008, 2020.
So 2020, I joined this firm in 2021, in August of 2021. I hadn't met you for the first few months, as no one's in the office anymore. First time I met you, you were sitting at the table in the area. Your head was down.
Was I sobbing?
Yeah, not quite.
Okay.
Not quite. But I was like, Chuck, I introduced myself, says, what's going on? He goes, I have to get back to basics. My business is awful, and I just have to get back to basics. So this was 2021.
Okay.
And in November, I think.
Yeah.
That year you did about 5 mil, at least over 5 mil. Okay. 2022, your head was down. You were there every day, or you were regularly there. I forget the cadence, but you were there often, and you were just digging in. So from November of 2021, where you were around, you closed 5 million plus that year, to the close of 2022, a year later, over 17 mil.
Okay.
What?
So yeah.
What?
So it worked.
Yeah. Come on.
All right.
So what which did you flip? Because everybody wants to know.
Wow. Okay. So let's see. At that time, I definitely was. I think I fell into a little bit of the roller coaster trap that I think agents can fall into. You know, we work so hard to prospect, to get clients, to build business, and then we spend a lot of time working with those clients. And when we're working with those clients, we're not doing as much prospecting, right? Building our business. So I think some of it was that. I think I fell really heavy into client workload and stopped doing the things that got me to that point, right? So I think that was part of it. But I think part of it also was the seasonality of the business. I think also I had just rebuilt my business. So everything that I had done from 2008 to 2012 was pretty much gone. I was starting all over again. And so I think part of it was just getting that runway going again, just doing the basics, you know. And I think that I like shiny new things. That's probably why I got into new home sales, right? And so, you know, I tried a bunch of different things over that first year and a half, trying to figure out what fit for me. And when I finally analyzed my business and saw what works, and I just stuck to that and did it over and over and over, the consistency piece of it was where I think I built that momentum.
And what is that? Well, what were those tasks? What were those day-to-day mundane things that everybody needs to do in order to build a business? They get boring, yes, but if you avoid them, you're going to crash.
Well,
what are those things?
There's a few things. So another thing that happened at that time was, since I was just kind of ramping up again, starting again, I thought I had to cast the widest net possible, right? So I started talking to everybody all the time. And what I found was, I mean, that was great to get going, but there came a time where it felt better, and I think felt more beneficial to go deeper with those people.
Yes.
So what I started to do about that time was, how can I deepen the relationships I already have? And so that was things like, I started playing golf again. I started inviting people to come play golf with me. I started having dinner parties in my house.
Nice.
Invite people to come to my house. I have a networking group that I've been organizing for a number of years. I got in-person events back together so that I could actually spend time with people. But instead of, you know, I still want to meet new people, but I had all these people right in front of me that already like me and trust me. I wanted to deepen those relationships. So I spent a lot of time doing that. Phone calls, stopping by where they work or their house, remembering them on their birthday, all things that just was just being a good person.
Now, obviously, it's not just deepening those relationships, but you must be able to service your clients well. Otherwise, you would not continue to grow like that. What is it? You know, why does a consumer, a buyer, or seller want to work with Chuck?
That's a good question. Well, the number one thing I think is, I was in hospitality for 10 plus years, and I'm all about creating an experience for people. And I think I'll go out on a limb here. And I think many people that have a real estate transaction, buying a house, selling a home, it's not the highest, best experience they've ever had.
Yeah.
It's emotional, stressful, right? So I want to change that. I want to be a real estate agent that is about creating an experience that they remember positively for the rest of their lives. Like, it's fun, it's engaging, it's not that stressful. They get what they're looking for. They don't have as many regrets. Like, I want to create an experience. And so that's one thing. I deeply, deeply value the relationship. So that's one thing I'm looking to do. And the other thing is I have a team of agents that work with me that are all about that client service piece to give us, you know, more hands on deck, more people helping out, so that if I do miss something, or I can spend more time also building the business and prospecting and meeting new clients, the client work doesn't fall through. That roller coaster I was on before isn't happening right now.
Right. So your marketing is going out. Consistent.
Yeah.
And you're staying in touch with, because you have that help, you're able to service those transactions without getting buried in all the minutia of it.
I don't know if I can say this or not, but like, I don't love houses that much. I don't watch HGTV. I don't like showing homes and decorating homes. I love people and I love relationships. And I see my most important job to be building the relationship. I've got people on my team that can help with the details of selling the house.
That's great. That's fantastic. And it works.
Okay.
It's working. Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Good.
I mean, customer experience, I think, is one of the it is the most important thing. And I like the way you said it's the experience. It has to go smoothly, and you have the help that you have is fantastic.
Yeah.
You're not just giving it away to another buyer agent.
That's
You're actually still in charge of that transaction. You're still managing it through. You just have a lot of support to help you make sure all the details are not getting lost.
100. Absolutely.
That's fantastic. let's talk about shiny objects.
Yeah, I love it. I just bought a new car, so that's kind of shiny. Yeah.
There you go. So one of the things that I don't know where this came about, and I don't know if it's still going on, but I noticed, and I've heard and I've listened to your podcast.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Everyone talks about doing a podcast. There are multitudes out there.
Yeah.
How did it come about, and why is yours special?
Well, I don't know if this matters or not, but I just heard this recently that something like 80% of the podcasts that started over the last 2 years are now gone. So It is a shiny new object for a lot of people because it can be a wonderful way to build your brand, to let a lot of people know about who you are in your business, to show you're an expert in a certain area. There's a million different reasons why doing a podcast is important. But the consistency of doing it, and also maybe not seeing what you would consider to be results right away can be hard to weather that storm. So I think a lot of people start and quit.
Yes.
For me, I look at it like my podcast is, can I talk about? So my podcast is called Connect Raleigh.
Okay.
And for me, it's about connecting people to Raleigh. It's not about selling real estate, but it is, right? It's kind of like the top of my funnel, if you will. If I can talk about why living in this area is absolutely amazing, and I'm highlighting people that live here, and I'm highlighting all the wonderful reasons why you would want to live in this area. And oh, by the way, I'm the one doing it, right? Like, and I'm a real estate agent because we'll talk about it here and there, but I don't have to drive home. If you're going to buy a house, call me. It's not about that.
Right.
I'm just highlighting this area, and I'm really passionate about that. I love this area. I've been here for 16 years now or so. I love that part of. I love helping other people fall in love with this area, and so I just do that, and that makes it easy for me to be consistent with it because I'm just passionate about it. And I have probably 70 to 80% of my listeners are from outside of the state.
Oh, nice.
The majority of the people that listen to this podcast are actually considering.
So you can track that. You can see from where they're coming.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great. And how do you do the entire thing yourself? You find therein lies the challenge.
Yeah.
Because I just doing these shows, I have support doing them. When I was trying to do them on my own, very difficult.
Yeah. So here's where I can also get in my own way, right? I love this part. I love having a conversation. This is easy. This is fun. It's enjoyable for me. I don't love all this other stuff that comes with it.
Right.
All these things that the people can't see right now.
That's pretty cool stuff.
Is really cool, but it's totally overwhelming to me because I don't claim to be a tech guru. I don't know how to edit a podcast, but I can have the conversation. From there is where I was getting in my own way. I was trying to, make get rid of these stutters.
Yeah.
Get rid of those, have the perfect picture that goes with it, all that. At the end of the day, that stuff doesn't matter. As long as the content is valuable and people want to listen, and I think if you're a good person, like, it works, right?
Yeah.
And so I had to start caring less about the produced value of my podcast and just do it and have good conversations with good people. And it got a whole lot better.
Yeah, excellent. And that's I used to do when I first got into videos. I used to cut and slice and dice and lay music in, and that's why I love the live.
Yeah, and
just go live, done.
Yeah, and I think people want to see we're human, right?
Yeah.
I think if you overproduce something, it can be an issue.
Yeah. So this is super simple.
So we're super,
even though it's super tech and it's cool. This is like my favorite thing. I can press all the buttons.
I love it.
So really fun stuff.
Did I even answer the question?
What was the question? Yeah,
something
podcast. So yes, we did. How to get it started? Like what was the,
so here's where I started on my phone. I literally started on my phone recording my voice into it and then putting it out there on a free podcast platform called Anchor.
Okay.
And that's it. And now I've evolved into a little bit better of a setup than just my phone, but it's still not a whole lot more. And then from there, it produces it out to everywhere you need to go. Apple, Spotify, Google, all the different platforms.
And you have people dial in and you talk to them over the phone?
So I was doing it in person, but I found it became more efficient and it didn't really matter as much if I did it on Zoom. And so I have people that dial in and they can be wherever.
Can we see the live or is it always just the voice?
I record it as well and put the live on YouTube.
Oh, okay, great. Yep. Great. And chuckbelden.com. We can
find it all there.
I'll see it at chuckbelden.com right down there. If you want to see, and that has everything we're talking about, your podcast, your website, all the information, all the stuff that you're doing. Yeah. So check out chuckbelden.com. Definitely going to be some interesting stuff there. So let's talk about, let's go back and talk about your business.
Okay.
Staying in touch with people and going deep. A lot of agents feel as though they're selling all the time. And how do you speak to that? Because a lot of people say, I don't like sales. Let them come to me. I'm just going to chase leads from the internet because I don't want to have to build relationships. I want to just do the transaction, move on. So tell me where the value is for you as a business owner and running this, and where is the value in it for the consumer?
Okay. So I think everything's sales, first and foremost, everything. I'm selling my kid every morning, and waking up on time and eating a healthy
He won't watch
breakfast.
this, will he?
Not yet, but maybe someday. Everything is sales, I believe. But what are you selling, right? And so in the way I choose to build my business is I'm constantly selling myself. And the way I want to sell myself is by demonstrating that I'm a good person and I know what I'm doing as far as my job goes. And as long as I continue to build relationships with people, when the time comes that they're thinking about buying or selling a home or investing in a home, or they hear somebody that is, I come to mind, because we're not talking about real estate all the time, but we're close enough friends and I'm staying in touch regularly enough. They know what I do for a living. I don't need to hit them over the head with, hey, do you want to buy a house? Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to buy a house? It's not about that. It's just about being a good person, having deep relationships. So when the time comes, I'm there. Yeah. But I'm constantly selling myself. I mean, we all are. Right. It's just how you look at it. Like I've learned a way to do it in an authentic way. It's structured, because if you just leave it to chance, it's never going to happen. I have a structured way. I have a business plan of how I'm going to build my brand, which is just selling myself. And I do it in a way that feels good to me. And it doesn't seem like I'm just like, hey, you want to buy a house? Are you ready yet? You ready yet? It's not about that.
So to your clients, I know you can't get inside their head, but from your client's perspective, what do they?
The value they get is they know 100% of the time, without question, I'm going to put their interest before my own, because I'm not calling to ask like, hey, are you ready to make a move? Because that seems self-serving.
Sure.
But I'm calling them just to see how they're doing, like, and check in on them. And then if the conversation goes that way, to make sure, yes, everything they have right now serves their needs, but it's all about them. And I don't care. Like, I do this to make a living, but the dollar amount that I make from a sale never comes into my mind. Never. Because I want to make sure I'm doing what's best for them.
So you're not cashing your checks in your head before you.
You told me how much volume I did last year.
Yeah,
I didn't even know.
Yeah, that's right. You didn't even know. That's fantastic. I see that so often where agents do the math on a potential deal that's somewhere in the pipeline, and they already have that commission in their head.
Yeah.
And if it blows up, they feel as though they just lost that money when they actually never earned it.
Yeah.
And that's a mental
game. I was there.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
It's hard not to, because it's worth something.
Yep.
And if it's worth a lot.
It's hard to lose business.
Like,
I get it. One of the things that I do to help make sure my focus is in the right spot is I do set an income goal every year. I know how much money I want to make. Okay. But then I back it up and I'm like, well, how many families is that actually helping? Nice. Right. And so now I know how many families I need to help. Well, I also work by referral. So then I know, because I track these numbers, how many referrals I need to get to help that many families. And so then I also know, well, what do I got to do to earn these people's trust to get that referrals? And then I spend all my time doing that. I know the dollar amount I want to make, but as long as I spend my time earning people's trust and being a good person and building relationships, that part will come.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just listening to what's it called? Atomic Habits.
Okay. Yeah.
Phenomenal book. And he talks about about goals. And you set a goal, and that can actually end up being a negative, because you can't get the goal by thinking about the goal. You set the goal, you figure out the tasks, you figure out how many families you have to handle and work with and get to know, and how many referrals you need from them. And that's the steps that get you to that goal, or I'm guessing exceeding it at 17 mil last year.
Yeah. So the goal is 25 for this coming year.
Coming up.
Yeah.
Nice.
But then I backed it up, and I know that equates to about 52 families, but 104 referrals. And now what do I do every day to take care of those people to get 104 referrals?
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think so. I feel good about it. And it puts the emphasis in the right place for me. I don't wake up every day like I'm excited to sell a house. Right. That's my thing, but I'm excited every day to take someone to lunch, or to build a relationship, or to call somebody to see how their kid's soccer game was. Like, at the end of the day, when all this is said and done, when I'm hopefully very, very old and on my deathbed, whatever it is, I'm not going to remember how many houses I sold.
That's right.
I'm going to remember all the people I impacted, all the people that impacted me. I'm going to remember that stuff.
That's right.
I hope I do.
And that's how they'll remember you.
Yeah.
As well. So 25 mil transactions, that's a lot of transactions.
Oh, yeah.
In any market, unless there's that could be one house or half a house in some markets.
Yeah, I question
Not
that
here.
goal sometimes, but yeah, that's
it's
where we're
awesome.
at.
It's doable. I know your team. I know who you have here. I know what you're capable of. So yeah, you can do that.
I call it realistically unrealistic.
You got to have a reach.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic. And that's not the money you need to make a living.
No.
So that's above and beyond.
That's right.
This is what can Chuck Belden do time, and what can he make?
That's right.
That's awesome. And I think most importantly, what a lot of agents don't have, and it's probably very hard for them to understand, is the team, the team that you have. How many people do you consider on your team, and how do you devise their roles?
Okay. Wow. Okay. So what's great about the structure that we have set up here is I didn't have to necessarily hire and train all these different people in all these different roles. We've got so much support at Relevate, way more than I was trying to building my own firm all these years ago, but I couldn't figure it out. To be honest with you, I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
But it's been figured out for me. So there's a marketing team here. They're not just for me. They're for everybody, but there's a marketing team. I have my own marketing team. There's things that they help me with that I don't have to spend any energy on whatsoever. I have client service managers that they help me with actual transactional type stuff, working with buyers and sellers to free up more of my time to go build those relationships and develop more buyers and sellers.
Right.
And there's 3 people on that team. I have, accounting help here. I don't have to worry about bookkeeping. That's all done for me here. I have home prep specialists that every time I have a listing consultation, we'll go into the home together, and someone from my home preparation team will help us put together checklists and staging advice and everything to take care of that. I've got pricing specialists that help me with that. So, I mean, there's probably 8 or 10 people that are on my team.
We just went black.
I was like, did we lose it?
I don't know why. Are we still on voice? Not sure what just happened, but we're going to keep talking. So Chuck, your name's up there, chuckbelden.com. You got a great team going. And one of the things that made me think of, from your client's perspective, what do they see with your team? Are they dealing, like, you have all this stuff going on behind the scenes? What's their experience with the team?
I think they see one concise unit and one concise voice. It's like it's one person, but there's multiple people involved. They definitely, it's not like they start working with Chuck and then Chuck passes them off and Chuck's gone. And then they're like, hey, where the heck did Chuck go? He's the guy we know. I'm involved 100% of the way, but we've got all this additional support. It's like having multiple licensed agents for, the price of one.
Great. Well, Chuck, I don't know if we have video, audio, or anything right now, so we're going to end the show. I want to thank you for coming on. It was great having you. Like I said, I've been waiting to do this for a long time, and I appreciate you coming on.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.